mod rewards. Need to work on mod rewards and stuff. Like, ooh, a counter, like a bounty board or something to track how many bans have happened. Almost done with physics, please. Hi, Kay. Oh, it's been going good, and now it's got even better that you're here. Especially now that we got both you and Diamond here. Hell yeah. I need. Oh, and additionally, but my day has also been very good today. How's your day been? You had a good day, Kay? You're over. Oh, I can imagine you're over physics. I can only imagine. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is a very complicated. Actually, before I do that, one second. I have to do one thing first. Oh heck yeah, no kinematics. I need to check something first. One sec. I should play Dress to Impress, to be honest. Okay. I was actually thinking of what game I should play. I was like, I need a new game to play, like as a transition between the next big game. What was I just got sidetracked because I had to delete a couple bot comments on my freaking thing. Oh, nice. That would be nice. That'd be very nice. Oh wait, hold on. No, I just gotta search. Okay. I'm gonna be muted for a sec. Okay, done checking what I needed to check. So, this is another story. First grad class down. Ooh, that would be awesome. That would be really awesome. That's it. Yeah, shoot for that goal. Get that first one down. All right. So this was a complicated. This one was complicated, and one that I sat on. Not because I wanted to report on it. This was just me going through me sharing my own exploration of molecular genetics. Oh, okay. Oh, so you won't have to take mole gen in the fall if you get a B, and then that'll be okay. Nice. Am I still reading that wrong? Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Cool, cool. Oh, but you're taking it now. Ah, oh, okay. Okay, got it. Gotcha. Okay, got it. Got it.
Hello, everyone. As most of you may
Oh
have.
no, the pages are refreshing. Oh god, no. Oh god, no. I just don't want sound blasting in your ears unexpectedly. Won't click that one. That's the last TikTok. So, this one was a little bit more complicated, and this one that I was just personally following on TikTok because when I first heard it, it was horrifying. And it wasn't really something I was going to be like, I'm going to turn this into content. It was just literally something I was like, I want to share this and talk about it in the chronological order of how I, went through this. And I just checked. There's no updates. This guy is pretty much the primary source outside of like the traditional media outlets because not very many people are talking about it. But we're gonna get that. This is basically my chronological order of how I got to the end and update on the story because it's kind of insane. It's not kind of insane. It's really insane. So here we go.
It gets the N word etched into his chest with a box cutter by his white teammates. You can't make this shit up. If you haven't heard about this story, you already know what time it is. Buckle up. Let's talk about it. The student in question, whom has not been identified due to the school's policy, nor the perpetrator of said incident has not been identified. He left the school, rightfully so, after the N-word was etched into his chest. The article reads, a student athlete is no longer enrolled at Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania after they allegedly etched a racial slur onto the chest of a teammate. Several students were attending an informal gathering of the swim team at an on-campus residence on September 6th when one of them used a box cutter to scratch the N-word on another student's chest. It's unclear whether or not they're going to press charges against the student and his family. I'm sorry, what? I'm not sure at this time what this family is doing. However, I will say this. If this video reaches this young man and or his family and the school is not doing anything about it, I want you to know that you have a voice on my platform. So feel free to hit me up, I Speak 1906, on every platform, on TikTok, on Instagram, everything. Literally, I will drop you my email. We'll do an interview here. We'll get this story out wider than it already is if they decide not to do anything, because this is utterly ridiculous. It's 2024. The family literally said it was done by a student whom he considered friend.
You heard about it? Okay, how much have you heard about it? Is this as much as you heard about it? Because it gets crazier. I know that's weird to say. I know that's really weird to say when you hear that a black student athlete had the N-word scratched or carved into their chest. That gets crazier from here, but it does get crazier. I just want to know, because I'm trying to avoid spoilers for Diamond. Is this all you've heard, or have you heard any more? Oh, the Shade Room posted a brief report on it? Okay, so you've basically heard probably less than even what he reported, but this guy has actually been, and he shows receipts, and he's blurred out faces to remain anonymity according to them, but plenty of them said that like they actually feel comfortable actually making their own posts about it and confirming, and so I'm like, there's no reason for this guy to lie because he's got receipts, everything looks legit, but we'll get to that. So, update, in case we just need, catch up for anyone. A few people have actually, jumped in. So, just an update. a black student athlete at Gettysburg College on the men's swim team had the N-word carved into his chest by a white teammate. And for whatever reason, and this took me some reading and stuff to figure out because the wording is strange, and my tism couldn't get through like the emotion and his the way he was giving these sentence and information. And I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to focus on in this context, but because I thought it was they weren't going to press charges against the student. I thought at first it was the school wasn't going to press charges against the student who did the carving, and I was like, that's horrible and effed up. But then I went back and listened to it, and he's saying that the student who got carved, him and his family are not going to press charges. They're just going to handle it internally with the school. And this is also the same student who has now left the university due to this incident. The victim who has left school, their family is not pressing charges against the other student who, for all intents and purposes, assaulted him. And this man's trying to give him a platform, and my initial thought was, my guess is something really bad went down that the university doesn't want revealed. And this is coming from someone who, grad student and did internships within universities and stuff like that. Like, in general, when bad things happen within a university, actually, this is someone who did work for a university in IT as well. Doesn't matter what position I was in. Information like this is not good PR wise, and the university would do literally anything and everything to cover it up quietly without getting the law or media or anything like that involved. So my thought process was maybe the black student athlete was supremely traumatized, and rightfully so, from this event, that they didn't want to stay enrolled anymore, and the university was just like, okay, talk with the family, everything that they said was like they probably offered them some obscene amount of money to be like, the other student will be expelled, we will sell right now quietly without anything else, whatever, right? That was my thought process, that they were positively and possibly negatively persuaded with money to not press charges towards the university.
That's why I say I ain't got too many white friends. Honestly, I don't. And it's not because, I don't trust all white people. I'm cautious. Very much so. Because anyone that can...
Wait, what? What do you mean, what? You mean what he's talking about right now?
Say that they call themselves my friend and that can do that to me.
He's going on to his second point.
Friends. Honestly, I don't.
Oh, you mean what? My point? Oh, sorry. You mean my point that I just made? What I was saying was when bad things happen at universities, particularly with public-facing students, doesn't matter how minor it may be. Like, not saying that the swim team is minor, but like bad things that happen, especially something like this with like that should receive massive legal ramifications. The university itself, as an organization that try to sell themselves as not only an educational place but as a safe space, would probably do anything to keep this quiet and have the family not press charges, and would basically offer the family any amount of money like that they wanted to not press charges right then and there, and promise them that they would quietly expel the other student, the white student who did the carving, and that the black student was still, rightfully so, extremely traumatized and didn't want to stay at the university anymore, rightfully so, and the university didn't care. They just wanted to keep it quiet. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Sorry, that might have been my fault. So, okay, now he's going off onto a second tangential point, which a lot of people get mad at him about, but not all that much, but I still think it's important to hear his entire message.
And it's not because, oh, I don't trust all white people. I'm cautious. Very much so. Because anyone that can say that they call themselves my friend and that can do that to me, there was no report of him being unconscious in any way, shape, form, or fashion, meaning that he was awake, breathing, and conscious during this entire time. Meaning somebody had to hold him down. And or they could have been foul play. No one knows if they were.
I mean, yeah, I'm
cautious
cautious too
like
around
all
white
of this
people.
is speculation. However, what I do know is that in order to use a box cutter on somebody's chest to etch a word into it, you gotta press pretty damn hard.
He just does his little outro here. But yeah, I mean, no, that's also a solid point too, is like anyone who says they're your friend and then willingly carves a racial slur into your chest. Well, I mean, depends on the box cutter, right? Like, if it's a brand new box cutter with a blade you popped out, that's fine. But if it's, you know, a random box cutter that you found in a college house, yeah, that ain't your friend. Yeah, exactly. I think it was an old one. It was an old box cutter. It wasn't a brand new sharp one. It was an old one. So this was the timeline. I saw this and I was like, I'm gonna sit on this and wait. I'm just gonna sit on this and wait and just see what becomes of this. And then the other day, this video popped up next.
I've heard by this point there was a student at Gettysburg College who left the school after the N-word was carved into his chest. So many of you were tagging me in this video, asking me to talk about it, and as I was reading on it to gather my information so that I could talk about it, things were just not adding up. But I was reading, his family not wanting to press charges, him just wanting to let the school handle it, it was not making sense to me, and I'm very big on trusting my gut, and I never want to talk about something and then it become a truth. Like, when I don't know a lot about shit, I normally shut the fuck up, as I feel most people should do. Now, as more information is coming out, I just saw a video from a creator, and I'll tag them here so that you can go see the video as well. Allegedly, the student who had the N-word carved into his chest had asked his teammate to do it and was flaunting it around to his teammates as like a boasting, like, look at my chest. His swim teammates were like, what the fuck, this is disgusting. Reported it to their coaches. And then after it was reported and things started to spiral, the student then came up with the story that he was held down and it was forcibly carved into his chest. I urge you to go watch his video in its entirety, but the people who reach out to him, who are allegedly students at Gettysburg College right now, are also questioning the student who had the N-word carved into his chest. They're questioning his identity because they're saying that he never once said that he was black before this incident happened, which also is kind of weird too, that they're saying that. They're like giving percentages of what his ethnicity is. Like, how do y'all know that? I don't know. Girl, I'm overstimulated. It is too the fuck much going on.
So that's something I was confused about too, because I was just like, wait, is this like a racist thing? Is this like the swim team or something trying to be like, oh, well, you know, he's got the, you know, like the Native American heritage stereotype with white women being like, I'm 1/64th, right? Like, or something like that. Like, so that the swim team could justify it and be like, oh, it was his idea. 'Cause that's what it seems like it is right now. It's the victims, it was their idea initially to have it done to them. And it was still weird, but I'm just like, this seems to be like negating something or I don't know, understand what, but it was another point where I was like, what the fuck? But anyway, as we continue.
Now let's make something crystal fucking clear, okay? I am not excusing the student who carved the N-word into his chest. Even if he did ask him, if your IQ is not that of Jennifer Lynn Lopez,
yeah, exactly.
If you have two working fucking brain cells, you would be like, no, I'm not doing that. So you're still dead motherfucking wrong too. However, if this student asked for this to happen, I feel that he should face the same consequences that the other student is facing as well. Lying about a hate crime puts the entire community at risk. They already don't really want to listen to us. They already don't want to give a fuck about us. So if you're making shit up, you're making it harder for us, and you're dead fucking wrong. You need consequences as well. Now, it's also possible that the student who had the N-word carved into his chest is receiving threats or retaliation, and that's what's making the story change. I'm not discrediting that as well. That could very well be happening. My hope is that the truth comes out, and whoever needs to be held accountable is held accountable. And bitch, I need fucking names, okay? Point them bitches the fuck out. I need to know. I need fucking names. Anyways, I didn't want you guys to think that I was ignoring your tags. I wasn't following the story, because I am. I just don't want to spread misinformation. So doing my own research, also asking you guys to do your own research. And
so I didn't know what video she was referring to at first. Yeah, what a shame. Yeah, exactly. Meaning it's not helpful to the black community. Precisely. Precisely. At least that's the way I gather it, right? That's not what I understand. Is like you making a fake hate crime, asking for someone to do it, and then faking a hate crime is insane, and just allows it for people to not take the next black person or any person who is non-white for an excuse for people to not racist people to not take them seriously. These types of cases are what I look into. Just some schools I do and don't want to get. Yep. This is a hate crime. For example, I would check this off. Yep. Yep. Nope. There's been a hate crime. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading that and going, oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So, I couldn't find the initial video she was talking about. Not the one that I just watched. It wasn't this video. It was a follow-up to this video, but I'm dumb and didn't really know how he set it up. So I decided to just research into it and maybe she read something. So this is what I've done. Like I'm presenting to the class, to my teachers about a project here, is I decided while I searched for this one video a couple of years back, I think I remember, yeah. I think I found that when I was looking up the other thing that I was, the crazy people in your Discord channels. I remember reading that up. So I decided while I tried to figure out where the other video was, we're going to go in the way that I did it kind of chronologically here, was I said, okay, I'm going to find all the articles related onto this, not all of them, but enough, in chronological order. Salmonella. Spielman at the moment? Oh, no, that's fine. I'm looking to Spellman. Okay, is that in Texas? In Tejas? And ironically, most sports-related, websites like this are actually fairly reliable to some things. Okay, on the 19th of September, Georgia. Ooh, Georgia's nice. Georgia's nice. Except for the hurricanes, but it's nice. Beautiful. So on 19th of September, two swimmers and this is where it got more, okay, sorry. This is where it got more confusing, right? This is where it got more confusing. You're sick of Texas? I can see that. So, this is where things got, real sticky and confusing for me. Especially after these two videos, because it sounded like from what I was reading, and not reading, what I was listening to and hearing and understanding, was that this was a two-person incident, meaning in the sense that there was someone who did the act of carving, and there was someone who got carved, right? And possibly, maybe a third or more person involved to help with holding the individual down, whatever. Right? But at the very least, two individuals were involved in the situation, right? And yeah, at least two people I think, okay? Two Gettysburg College swimmers suspended for racist incident. Two swimmers, and this is on the 19th of September. This was like a day, I think it was the day it happened or day after, don't know specifically, but two swimmers at Gettysburg College have been suspended by a university for an incident with a racial scratch on their body. First confirm this. It's basically a summary of what happened. And I thought, okay, 2 swimmers have been suspended. And my thought was, that's weird. Shouldn't it just be 1 swimmer was suspended? So then my thought was, maybe it was 2 people. Maybe this was at some kind of event, and 2 people were like the perpetrators, and there was 1 victim, right? That's where my mind went, because I was like, it would be absolutely insane in like I know I'm this variety of person, but even I know the thought of a black individual asking a white individual to carve not just a racial slur, but the racial slur into your chest willingly, without some kind of coaxing or threatening force around you, is a astronomically multiversal level, like, fucking, like, never gonna happen, right? Like, that's an insane concept to even approach with any like microscopic amount of seriousness. To think a black person would say willingly, hey, carve this slur into my chest, right? But then this was September 22nd by the Associated Press. Same thing. 2 suspended from college swim team after a report of slur scratched onto student's body. Harley Russell. I'm gonna, hold on. I think I've heard that name before. Oh, I remember her. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Low, yeah, the possibility is low, but not unlikely. Yeah, the girl who acted like she got kidnapped. Yep, it's the first thing that popped up. Yeah, unlikely, but not improbable. So, a few days later, by the Associated AP Press, also confirming 2 students, 2 suspended from college swim team after report of slur scratched on student's body. I checked back here, there were no real updates. Listened to them again and was like, okay, it was still just 1 and 1. 2 individuals involved, 1 victim, 1 assailant. 22nd. On the 24th, the day that, like, I started listening to this, hearing about this again, right? I started looking into this. This was posted on Swimming World, and the swimmer who is accused of perpetrating a racial incident at Gettysburg College is no longer enrolled in the school, a college statement released Monday said. The college released a pair of statements in response to the incident in which a male swimmer used a box cutter to scratch a racial slur into the chest of another swimmer at a party. Names of the victim and the alleged perpetrator have not been released. News of the incident first broke last week. Okay. The family of the victim spoke out. Well, this is Friday, so was that on Friday? Calling this was okay. I'm gonna read through it. Hate crime. The statement can be full here, courtesy of the Gettysburgian, the college students' newspaper. It said that they occurred at a gather. Oh, yeah, this is the important part too. They said that it occurred at a gathering of swimming. A gathering of swimming, I think it means swimmers, in which their son was the only person of color present. The victim's family called the perpetrator a fellow student athlete, someone he considered his friend, someone whom he trusted. The victim was dismissed from swim team activities as well as the perpetrator after an interview with staff, a punitive action against which they are fighting. Now that I'm reading that again, that's kind of weird. While advocating for the investigative process to play out, they've also sought help from other parties, including the NAACP Harrisburg chapter, its Pennsylvania conference, and the Pennsylvania Commission on Human Relations. Now, yeah, the 24th is when I saw this video updating from like this video that I saw the previous day. So, this makes it clear that something I find strange here in the wording is that while, yes, calling it a hate crime. It is a hate crime. They said it occurred at a gathering of swimming in which their swimmers, in which their son was the only person of color present. Okay, clear as day what's going on. The victim's family called the perpetrator, or was it? No. Here. The victim was dismissed from the swim team activities as well as the perpetrator after an interview with staff, a punitive action against which they are fighting. Now, I have the kind of autism where I really like to hyperfixate on the words people use to an unfortunate toxic detriment of mine own problems I need to work on. However, when statements are executed by a college and a university, much like governments, they are very well crafted and thought out in order to avoid lying. And something that's made harder to understand what they're saying, or what they might actually have happened, and this was occurring here with me, was they were being very, very vague with like what was going on when listing the things, because it's like, okay, why was the victim dismissed from swim team activities as well? That's a very weird way to say it. That's a really weird way to say, like, if the victim was like, it would make sense to say like the victim has been excused, or the victim is not expected to appear at mandatory swim events or whatever. That would be fine. Like, excused, relieved, whatever, right? That would make sense to say that. And that would be appropriate to be like, yeah, you need space or whatever from swimming for the time being. That's fine. Nothing's wrong. You're not, whatever, right? Why use dismissed? Why say dismissed? It's a really strange, because that has dismissed has a certain connotation from it, right? Like when I was fired from my job, I was in the termination letter, and this is dark humor here, but yeah, it was in many of the whatever. But dark humor aside, in the letter they used terms like dismissed. That has a very specific connotation to it in this kind of message, as well as a punitive action against which they are fighting. Who's they? Because they implies multiple people. And are you referring to they as the perpetrator? Because the way I'm reading this, it sounds like when you say they are fighting, it means that the victim and the perpetrator are fighting. And I normally wouldn't think this way, and I normally wouldn't think the victim has some kind of punitive action against it, except for the fact that the family isn't pressing any charges. But then, in my mind, trying to be a reasonable human being here is like, okay, but again, I still don't believe, again, possibility, but I still don't believe that, like, a black student asked someone to have a slur carved into their chest. So the next reliable source I could find, at least, like most reliable on the thing, was, what the hell? That's not it. Why is that there? Oh, I was finding stuff. Not that one. Oh yeah, I was looking for a statement, release statement, because most of the news is the exact same thing. So I want to look for something that had the actual statement. So I found this at penlive.com. Gettysburg College swim team releases statement after racial slur scratched onto student's body. And this is where I decided, like, okay, I'm going to wait, because it's already 3. I'm late to stream anyway. And this was at almost 2:30 p.m. I was like, I got to think on this and just wait and see if some more people will say anything. But this article states, the Gettysburg College swim team spoke out this week after 2 members of its team were accused of carving a racial slur onto another team's teammate's body. Again, this is weird. After 2 members of the team were accused of carving a racial slur onto another teammate's body. This is why I was confused and spent like 4 hours digging into this. And not digging into it, but like double checking and literally writing down transcripts. Not because I didn't trust them, but because I was like, I need to know, because Now we have a third player? We have a third player in this role for sure? Two members of the team were accused of carving a racial slur onto another teammate's body on September 19th, again, which was first day here. This is when it was announced. Sorry, I was also a swimmer, so this is also, it's not like, oh man, swimming is sacred. It's just like, it's just another connection point, and I'm getting hyped up. On September 19th, the Gettysburgian, it's weird, reported both students were suspended from the team after being accused of scratching a racial slur onto another student. Again, 2 students suspended. Gettysburg College released a statement to Penn Live saying, the students were suspended after using a plastic or ceramic tool to carve the racial slur. So yeah, it definitely was not a sharp box cutter at all. On Tuesday, the college said only one of the suspended students is still enrolled. That's weird. One of the students, again, on Tuesday, the college said one of the students is still enrolled. So 2 students. Wait. It's like, okay, stew. Tuesday, ain't it? Yeah, ceramic. 2 students were suspended, but one is still enrolled. But they were both involved in the carving of said individual. So what in my mind, I'm going, okay, so we definitely have 2 students involved in this interaction, okay? 2 students involved in this interaction. But why is one still enrolled? Yeah, exactly, Kay. The wording is weird. The wording is so weird. It's so weird. The other student is working with school officials and family members to determine the most productive way to move forward, a spokesperson said. The following statement from the swim team was released on their website Wednesday night. Given the intense focus surrounding the recent events on campus, the Gettysburg swim team feels compelled to address the incident directly. We acknowledge the past few hours have been extraordinarily difficult for many people within our campus community and beyond. Our hearts are with everyone who has been directly and indirectly affected by this. You just want to sleep, yeah. The pain and anguish caused by the heinous acts that occurred and the media coverage that has followed have affected people far and wide. As a swim team, both collectively and as individuals, these days have been some of the hardest of our lives. Second only to Kick Only Day. Sorry, that was a dark joke, sorry. That's also weird too. As a swim team, both collective individuals, these days have been some of the hardest of our lives. I think having your teammate flayed in front of you and being paraded around would be, the hardest day to deal with of my life as a college student at that point in time. Oh, sorry, kick day only. It's the day where you go in and for your 2-hour practice, you only use the kickboard all the time. The whole day for 2 hours. All workouts are kicking only. Again, really weird way to phrase this. I would phrase it as not comparatively to other horrible atrocities or events that might have occurred. I would have just said, this is a really horrible event. Yeah, it's horrible. The swim team stressed that discrimination did not stem from team encouragement or an unhealthy athletic team culture. As members of the team were responsible for reporting the incident to college officials. Not going to spend too much time on that. But that's also strange, too. Obviously they're going to deny it, so it's not that strange. I'm not going to dig too deep into that. The national spotlight has, unfortunately, led some to believe that our team, or the culture with our team, is complicit in this racist incident that took place. This couldn't be further from the truth, the statement said. Racism has no home here, neither at Gettysburg College nor on our team. We stand united in condemning the actions that took place. Okay, it's a little bit better. The swim team also said the social gathering at which the incident occurred was not a team-organized event. Now, I will tell you as a former high school athlete. Now you feel sick. Oh, she's got the food. She's got the food sweats. Like, as a high school athlete, college athlete, all that stuff. Yeah, sure. It may not have been an official team organized event, but my guess is that it was just an event that was unorganized that included predominantly the entirety of the swim team, or a lot of the swim team, or most of the people there were swimmers. I know how sports work. We know the character of this team. We believe in our team to sit in silence while our reputation has been unjustly smeared. Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's giving. It's very much giving this.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
The lady doth protest too much. Like, yeah, exactly. That's weird. What? Like, y'all got accused of a hate crime, and you're sitting there playing the victim. Yeah, like, why'd you even bring up your reputation? Also, again, we know the character of this team. We believe in our team. To sit in silence, reputation has been to sit in silence while our reputation has been unjustly smeared has been agonizing. What do you? Sorry. Yeah, that one missed very badly. The phrase, I think the lady doth protest too much, is a common phrase from Shakespearean plays saying, like, why are you being so defensive about this? Or why are you, like, whatever? Yeah. It's being like, it's like traditional sense. It's like, oh man, do you like Tina? And boys being like, no. And it's like they secretly do, but they overdo do it so that they don't get called whatever by their friends. That's what the lady doth protest too much, methinks means. Autism time with Matt. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's very weird. And again, a human being just got flayed, and you're sitting here going, to sit in silence while our reputation has been unjustly smeared has been agony. Again, someone got flayed, minorly flayed, but still flayed, and you're sitting here going, oh, our reputation. Oh. In a few weeks, we will return to the pool as determined as ever. We will represent this college with pride, both in and out of the water. We will emerge from this stronger, more united team, and as many others have said, our campus has the potential to become a stronger institution because of it. I knew you would hear that too. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is indeed. Gettysburg College President Robert Giuliano. That's how you say that. Yep. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be more reason to work harder. Giuliano issued a statement a couple of days after the Gettysburgians' initial report. He thanked the upperclassmen on the swim team who reported their alleged racial discrimination and expressed profound disgust over the incident. I recognize that the lack of details regarding this incident might be frustrating, and we ask for your forbearance during the ongoing investigation, Giuliano said. The names and ages of the students involved have not been publicly released. Yeah, even though we weren't the victim. All right. My thought process at this point, okay, with all the whatever internet evidence I have at this point, this was some kind of gathering. It was a gathering with all, like a swim team, not an official gathering, but a swim team gathering where most of the people were swimmers, whatever, right? And something occurred. I'm not going to speculate specifically what, but something occurred, and the black student had a slur carved into his chest. I find it realistic that if this was, even if this was an unofficial gathering, if like I was a senior in college, right, an upperclassman on the team, if I saw a black student with a slur carved, possibly bleeding from the chest, I would also be confused and disgusted and, report that to my coach, because I would have no fucking idea how to handle that, and I just know that's not okay, and something that he should be helped, and whoever assaulted him should be taken care of, like a normal human being with empathy would do, like basic functional empathy, right? Like, doesn't matter, if it doesn't matter, right? That's fucked up, and you should get help immediately, right? And again, right here, I recognize the lack of details regarding the incident might be frustrating, and we ask for your forbearance. Now, here's the thing. That's the thing. That's the deafening part of this, right? The deafening part of this is the lack of details, because now the lack of details is leading to a lack of inconsistency, a la 2 students were suspended for carving a racial slur onto another teammate's body, but yet one student who is suspended is still enrolled at the school, not expelled. But what happened to the victim? Why don't you actually mention what happened to the victim? That was the last thing I was trying to work towards. During this whole thing, right? They don't mention what happened to the victim. They just, yes, they mention what happened to the victim. They had a slur carved into their chest, but they don't specifically do what followed up afterwards, right? Like, they say this. 2 were suspended, 1 still enrolled. Okay, you told us what happened to the comeuppance, if you will, the outcome, the consequences of your actions or the situation for 2 of the students. What about the victim? Like, other than, knowing that the victim has been dismissed, whatever, what's going on with the victim? I kind of want to know the victim. That was something that it just stuck out so bad. And then it was this. Oh, this was another video I saw. I think this one
has more.
That big meeting.
No. Then there was this other one here. This was one I thought I didn't have. Then there was this statement. Gettysburg College swim team released a statement after racial slurs scratched onto his student's body. This is a different one. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The Gettysburg College men's swim team released a statement regarding the incident where the member of the team allegedly scratched a racial slur onto another teammate's body. Gettysburg College said the students involved is no longer enrolled at the school after 2 members of the swim team were barred from team activities. Okay, now we're starting to get a little bit more cleaned up language, but still very strange. The student is no longer enrolled at the school after 2 members of the swim team were barred from swim team activities. So this seems to make it it appears that this was only 2 people involved. Like, 2 people did get punished. So 2 students have been punished for incidents involved with the swim team, right? I don't blame you, Diamond. It's okay. 2 students were involved in this incident. At minimum, the 2 people you have is the person who got carved, the victim, and the assailant, right? But this makes it seem like 2 people were punished. My logic is, why is the victim getting punished, right? So were 2 assailants involved in this, and why aren't they telling us more about the assailants? And they say there's plenty of things happening to these 2 students who assaulted another student. That's, things are happening to them, But the only thing that we know that's occurred with the victim is that the victim was dismissed from some activities. Hold on 1 second. I gotta be right back. Someone's at the door. Sorry, dropped off my food. But so does that make sense? Like, 2 students have received reprimands. One of the students is still of the punished students is still enrolled in school, but they fail to ignore what's happening with the victim after the situation. Like, it's very unclear why they're avoiding to just say the victim is recovering just fine and has been excused from all team activities until they feel ready to return. Like, why is that so hard to put in writing? Okay, so this was another oh, it's the same thing, but there's something different here. Actually, no, I think it was the same thing. I just misread it. Anyway, so it's still very confusing, right? But I think this next video will clarify everything, because I was dumb. It was literally the next video, but this is the follow-up video that this creator was referring to. So buckle in. It's about to get when I say it's about to get bumpy, it's about to get bumpy.
If you haven't heard about this story, you already know what time it is. Buckle up. Let's talk about it.
And talk about it, indeed we shall. In less than 24 hours, clearly, I've gotten better information than Gettysburg College and the Gettysburg Police Department. Let's talk about it. Just so that you all are aware, on yesterday it was reported by multiple blog sites that a black student at Gettysburg College on the swim team had the N-word etched across his chest by his white teammate utilizing a box cutter. However, apparently, that's not the truth. One of the things I don't delight in on my platform is unethical journalism. So a former student whose boyfriend still attends the school, hit me up. Current students, hit me up. So much so that a junior at the school right now hit me up and let me know, hey, listen, man, I love what you're doing in terms of getting this story out. However, they are not reporting the truth. Now, I'm going to show you all some screenshots. In that, I redacted the names of the people that came forward. And I want to say publicly, for legal reasons, this is all alleged. But multiple students have hit me up with this exact same story of the truth about what took place and why, in fact, it perturbs and confuses a lot of us why they said it's unclear whether or not they're going to press charges against said student that was the perpetrator of this situation. Give me a second. This is one of 5 students whom hit me up who asked to remain anonymous, and I'm going to respect that. She said, I've watched your and others' videos regarding the alleged hate crime at Gettysburg College, and I would like to offer clarification. While I acknowledge that this is an ongoing investigation, based on what I've heard, the incident does not constitute a hate crime in the traditional sense. It is true that the N-word was carved into a student's skin, but the victim, in air quotes, and his family are not being entirely truthful. While this remains an allegation pending further investigation, I want to share with you what members of the swim team have reported to their coaches. Feel free to put the following on record. 2 students are involved, one who is fully white and the other who is half white, half Mexican, and half black/Arab. For anonymity, let's call them John Doe, the multiracial victim, and Jack Doe, the other student whom actually etched this into the student's chest. It's important to note that prior to this incident, John Doe, the victim, rarely if ever discussed his black identity or identified as black in appearance. The incident occurred in a dorm room when John Doe suggested as a joke that Jack Doe carved the N-word into his chest. Jack Doe did so. And John later flaunted the mark around the swim team as if it were a humorous act. Members of the swim team, however, did not find it amusing and reported it to their coaches. The coaches, in turn, informed the school.
Oh yeah, sorry, that was the other thought I had. I lost it when I was talking about the swim team reporting, because I was like, oh, there's something else I had, but I lost it. But that was the thing, was this is awful, right? And normally I would expect college students to try and hide something atrocious like this from happening to avoid all of them getting in trouble. But the issue is that this is a swim team. There's no way that they could hide what had happened. So they had to come forward and say something.
As a result, Jack Doe, the one that carved it, was expelled, and John Doe was suspended and removed from the swim team. Once the story reached the media, John Doe reframed the narrative as a hate crime, presumably to protect himself. Again, this is all alleged, but several swim team members have confirmed this account. Which to a degree makes sense to me because the student himself excused himself from the college. The college said, we didn't expel him. So in that, I don't know if you all understand what it means to be expelled from a college and how other colleges will be more cautious and or conscientious about allowing you into their institution, especially considering something of this manner. However, it is my hope that if this is in fact true, that these colleges are aware of what you did and how you tried to perpetuate this narrative against this individual. Now, let me also say this too. That does not clear the white student from doing it, because what the fuck is wrong with you and why the fuck would you do that? Let's keep going. Yeah. This young lady is a former student, the one that I said that her boyfriend still goes there, as well as some of her friends. She said the kid's name is, and I redacted his name, and she said he is not black. He is 50% white, 25% Mexican, neither 25% Arab or black. There has been speculation on this one, but he doesn't look it, nor did he claim being black before this incident. He had asked his roommate in the dorm to carve it out with a box cutter, and the next day was parading it around to his swim team. They reported it to the coaches and started this. The only reason why is because misinformation is so harmful. Black students at Gettysburg get mistreated all the time, hence why this young lady left the school. She said that he claimed it to be a hate crime because he didn't want to get kicked out of the school. She said, trust me, I can stitch your video with evidence if you give me permission. This situation is being twisted by the news and it's making my blood boil when she was a direct victim of racial discrimination and SA by students at that school. She said she just wanted to let me know that it wasn't true by any means. Now, before I continue, I want to be clear. Whether or not this student was black and or a person of color, the act in and of itself is still dangerous and harmful. However, there was only one black student on that swim team, and this did not happen to him. I just want to be very clear about that. So I'm putting my head over the name because I actually typed it out. And I said, is the student so-and-so that this happened to? This was another student that hit me up. She said they didn't hold him down. Yes, he is mixed. I said, OMG, so he did ask for this to be done to him. She said yes, and then lied when it was reported. Now they're covering it up as a hate crime when it really and truly wasn't, and that the family is involved in it as well. This is the third student that hit me up. They said, hello, I would like to provide some clarity on the situation you posted about Gettysburg College. I'm a current student and can confidently tell you that the student was not black. He was just an entitled white boy. 50% white, 25% black and Hispanic, who would purposely go around calling him, and I'm covering up the N-word, to prove his blackness, so to speak. It was for this reason he asked and consented to his friends cutting him up and after boasted and flexed the carving. It wasn't until other students found out about this disgusting act that it was reported to the swim team and obviously reported to the school. Now this kid is trying to save his ass by crying hate crime, seeing as his parents want to know how this came to be. At this point in time, this is the fifth student. However, the fourth one was over on Instagram. They said they wanted to just give me context on what happened, and when they heard about the story, they were all outraged. However, they soon learned that the boy who was carved into asked for his friend to carve it into him, and then he showed it off to all of his friends. The reason why he won't press charges is because he knows he's in the wrong too. It doesn't excuse the fact that the kid did it to him, but that is the whole story on why it's so confusing. This portion here is for the Gettysburg College administration because I know you all are going to watch this video. The student's name starts AID. And I'm not going to continue the rest, just so that you know I got the right information. This is disgusting, and the truth needs to be told. I don't practice unethical journalism. And if in fact, because all of this is alleged, of course, if in fact this is the real story, the truth deserves to be told. And its family should definitely hold this child responsible, and the college should do the rightful thing and expel this student as well. Not just the one that perpetuated it, but the one that asked for it to be done to them, because this is sheerly and utterly disgusting. Good day, goofies.
This is his exit. So yeah. There you go. That's the story of the Gettysburg swim team. Racial incident. It doesn't look good. It don't look good at all. It don't look good. Period. Like, that's really bad. That's really, like, I don't know. It's just an insane story. So, and there wasn't any update on it yet today. So maybe over the weekend. I have a feeling the story's going to continue to get worse. I don't know, what's the problem? Not as if I can help, my dumbass. Barely read a paragraph in front of me. What was I looking for? Oh, that's what I looked for, because I wanted to check something. Because I still want to try something. I want to ask chat something. Kay and Diamond, I want to ask you two something. There it is. Please, I hope it didn't refresh, because that was a pain. God dang it, it refreshed. Whatever. Never mind. I was going to show you something, but I'll have to fix that later. But, what am I talking about? Hold on. There we go. Hold on, I have to do some techno nerd stuff. Oh no, I'm not muted. Sorry, I'm just not speaking because I'm doing something. Sorry. So because I had something done, it takes just a second. Okay. It's good. Tell me that's stuck because I don't want to do that again. Okay, good. That's stuck. I'm gonna pull that out so it doesn't refresh by accident. Put it over here. Okay, so. Hello? Can you hear me? Type 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Hello? Okay, that was weird. Okay, good. So, I mean, my thought was going on that one Gettysburg swim team website and then rolling back the going on the time machine.
The most recent decision already got a question.
That's the Yeah, I got some configuration stuff cleaned up so it's not all buzzy and white noise when I'm not talking. More comfortable on you. Okay, so I had two thoughts before gaming time. Feed my autism, my hyperfixation on this racist incident at Gettysburg College. Look at the swim team. See if there's any differences on the site from now to prior to this event via the Internet Archive or the Wayback Machine. Or we can jump back into my another fun yet educational thing I have, which is the origin of Project 2025. What do y'all think we should go with? Should we try and figure out who this kid was? Because I wouldn't normally do that, but the one guy was the one guy, I speak 1906, was like, there was only one black student on the swim team, and this incident didn't happen to them. And I'm just like, okay. Y'all are being real shady with not telling us about these kids. And you're like, man, I don't know. Maybe I'll do that like on another stream. We can watch the origins of Project 2025 while I eat my dinner before game time and playing. What was it? What was that game called? The fashion game? Dress to Impress? Okay, if it's not too long to set up a Roblox account, then yes, I will do Dress to Impress tonight. So, with that in mind, let's learn about where the origin of all our problems started from.
That means that it is not illegal.
It's a thing called Article 2. Nobody ever mentions Article 2.
More importantly, Article 2 allows me to do whatever I want.
Our common theme is to take down the administrative state, the bureaucracy, preparing to march into office and bring a new army of aligned, trained, and essentially weaponized conservatives ready to do battle against the deep state.
For the last 18 months, conservatives from every corner of the far-right establishment, from extremist think tanks to former members of the Trump administration to tenured academics, have been working both publicly and privately on a new project. The project's goal? To rescue the country from the grip of the radical left, uniting the conservative movement and the American people against elite rule and woke culture warriors. And the stakes are high. According to this group, if we fail, the fight for the very idea of America may be lost. Last month, this group of far-right leaders, known as Project 2025, released a 920-page manifesto titled Mandate for Leadership, the Conservative Promise. In it, the document's 35 different named authors, united and copyrighted by the Far-Right Heritage Foundation, lay out an explicit, comprehensive plan to complete.
Remember how she said, like, the last 18 months? Right? As she said, the last 18 months, the conservative think tanks and forces have been working on this project. That wasn't, this wasn't a new video. This wasn't even like a month or so ago, because everybody and their mom is now mentioning, like, Project 2025. This was 11 months ago when she posted this video. So 18 months plus 11 months ago was when this started becoming, like, semi-known outside of these weird think tank circles and conservative groypers. But oh no, it's a threat to our democracy now that Joe Biden's lost his mind.
overhaul the US government from the inside out, with the ultimate goal of furthering far-right wedge issues and concentrating as much power as possible in the hands of the president. Project 2025 is touted as the ultimate solution to paving the way for the next conservative administration, which they believe will take power in January 2025. While the entire project mimics the same talking points that Trump has harped on throughout his presidency and current campaign, the leaders of this project make clear that the plan is not dependent on a specific person winning the Republican nomination and ultimately the White House. Instead, it's a blueprint for the next conservative executive, whoever they may be, to push the limits of presidential power so far that they will answer to no one, wreaking havoc on the delicate balance of our three branches of government that have allowed us to function as a democracy for nearly 2.5 centuries. This is the conservative plan to take over the country. Roll the intro. A lot of you like to assume that lawyers universally are millionaires, and while it's true that there are quite a few millionaire lawyers, many of us are just swimming in cess every month on your thousands in ADS debt.
It's not bad to skip because it's almost a year old. It's fine.
Launched in April 2022, Project 2025 is the brainchild of the far-right think tank, the Heritage Foundation, which deserves its own entire video for all the shady shit that they've been up to over the last 40+ years. Project 2025 is systematically building the future of the conservative movement and promoting policy objectives that would have devastating consequences not only in our government, but for every person living in this country. That might sound hyperbolic, but I'm telling you, I cover a lot of batshit stories about conservatives, and this one has me spooked as hell, y'all. Their plan to further these goals has 4 pillars. Pillar number 1 is the policy, embodied in that 920-page manifesto they dropped last month. Pillar number 2 is the personnel database. Described as the conservative LinkedIn, the objective of the database is to collect resumes and information for thousands and thousands of conservatives from all walks of life and industries in order to source the best candidates to pack every branch and administrative body in Washington and throughout the states. To ensure that this database of personnel and the chosen warriors who will infiltrate the government at every level are properly prepared to represent the conservative goals set forth in the policy, Project 2025 relies on pillar number 3, training. Through an online institute, Project 2025 will prepare the foot soldiers of the conservative agenda to push their policies from day one. And because they've been preparing for years, they will be ready on day 1 of the new conservative presidency thanks to pillar number 4. Pillar number 4 is the 180-day playbook, the step-by-step guide for the next conservative president to implement the policies laid out in the manifesto as quickly and systematically as possible in the first 180 days of their term. Through these 4 pillars, policy, personnel, training, and the playbook, Project 2025 aims to overhaul the entire US government from the inside out, putting in place draconian policies and gutting important government agencies, all in the name of the Constitution and good, white, Christian family values. Let's take each pillar in turn, though we will be spending the bulk of our time on pillar 1, the policy, because we have 920 pages to cover, and it is the most fleshed out and horrific part of the plan so far. Project 2025 published their 920-page Mandate for Leadership policy manifesto as a free PDF on their website. I considered getting a physical copy to be able to wave around for you just to see what it looks like printed, but that would require me to give $35 to the Heritage Foundation, so digital will do. That being said, I did not, unfortunately, read 920 pages of this thing, though I don't think it's a bad idea to do so. I did, however, read the first 50 pages of the PDF, including the list of organizers, authors, the introductory note, and the foreword, to get a good flavor of what's going on. And frankly, entire books could be and have been written on some of the batshit theories and doctrines they rely on just in the introduction alone. So we have plenty to dig into. Plus, the work of journalists who have pored over the manifesto at length will help us in our dizzying tour of the policies laid out in this manifesto, so let's get into it. The policy book is divided into 5 sections. 1. Taking the reins of government. 2. The common defense. 3. The general welfare. 4. The economy. And 5. Independent regulatory agencies. The note at the beginning of the paper, authored by Project 2025 director Paul Dans, a former Trump official, lays out what's at stake. The long march of cultural Marxism through our institutions has come to pass. The federal government is a behemoth, weaponized against American citizens and conservative values, with freedom and liberty under siege as never before. The task at hand to reverse this tide and restore our republic to its original moorings is too great for any one conservative policy policy shop to spearhead. It requires the collective action of our movement. With the quickening approach of January 2025, we have 2 years and 1 chance to get it right. The language throughout the policy manifesto and the Project 2025 website is militant, clearly meant to play into the fears and the patriotic duty that far-right constituents feel so strongly, the same militant language that led to the righteous anger of the January 6th insurrection. The report starts with, "We want you." The 2025 Presidential Transition Project is the conservative movement's unified effort to be ready for the next conservative administration to govern at 12 noon, January 20th, 2025. Welcome to the mission. By opening this book, you are now a part of it. Indeed, one set of eyes reading these pages will be those of the 47th President of the United States, and we hope every other reader will join in making the incoming administration a success.
Oh my god, they're such nerds. We want you. Like, go play D&D. Go back to playing COD. Please, go back to playing COD unrelentingly. Only COD being your life's your thing, and not Project 2025 and Donald Trump. Please.
And I know this, like, it's not explicitly about Trump, but listen, we all know that man is not reading a 920-page manifesto in the unlikely chance that he does take the White House in January 2025. Get real. But you get the vibe. This is positioned as a mandate, making readers, ostensibly the conservative foot soldiers who'll do their bidding, feel like they're in on a top-secret mission, like this is some G.I. Joe mission shit, because the authors know that that is the absolute conservative wet dream, and they're playing into it. The foreword includes a tidy summation of all the conservative wedge issues and talking points that have been flying.
Diamond, I know you're a biologist, you got a biology major, you know, degree, you're gonna have one, and you know, all that stuff and everything, but you know, just letting you know, this is what peak genetics looks like. All right, I know you hate to see it, but this is what peak genetic evolution is. I know you want to deny it with your science and your facts, but can't deny it.
The foreword includes a tidy summation of all the conservative wedge issues and talking points that have been flying around over the last few decades, all of which are addressed at length in the document. Look at America under the ruling and cultural elite today. Inflation is ravaging family budgets, drug overdose deaths continue to escalate, and children suffer the toxic normalization of transgenderism, with drag queens and pornography invading their school libraries. Overseas, a totalitarian communist dictatorship in Beijing is engaged in a strategic, cultural, and economic Cold War against America's interests, values, and people, all while globalist elites in Washington awaken only slowly to that growing threat. Moreover, low-income communities are drowning in addiction and government dependence. Contemporary elites have even repurposed the worst ingredients of 1970s radical chic to build the totalitarian cult known today as the Great Awakening. Most alarming of all, the very moral foundations of our—
Oh, it's so cringe every single time. The Great Awakening.
our society are in peril. The foreword goes on to list the 4 broad fronts that the policy mandate will cover. Those are 1. Restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. 2. Dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. 3. Defend our nation's sovereignty, borders, and bounty against global threats. 4. Secure our God-given individual rights to live freely, what our Constitution calls the blessings of liberty. And the manifesto goes on to lay out over 920 pages in 5 sections how they plan on furthering those 4 fronts. Chief among the policies promoted in the manifesto are a gutting of the administrative state and furtherance of the unitary executive theory, which we'll get into what those mean, plus anti-globalist and anti-environmentalist policies to protect from infiltration of Chinese culture into American life and continue the flourishing of American commerce, plus draconian anti-LGBTQ+ policies and a centering of religion and the traditional family unit in every aspect of governance. Yeah, it's bleak. Let's get into it. By far the scariest aspect of the policy, and the one getting the most critical commentary, is the absolutist commitment to gutting the administrative state and concentrating power into the hands of the president. The administrative state is sometimes called the fourth branch of government, and there have been debates for centuries as to whether it's constitutional. You know, all those agencies like the EPA, Social Security Agency, HUD, FEMA, the Fed, the Department of Homeland Security? Yeah, all those governmental bodies that manage the administration of day-to-day operation of the country and promulgate regulations for everything from transportation to healthcare to food to clean water. That's the administrative state. It's not technically in the Constitution, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not constitutional. And listen, most law students take an admin law class, and I can tell you right now that shit is dry. I barely could keep my eyes open during that class, so I won't bore you with too much detail, but this issue does take on a new and much more important meaning when you learn what Project 2025 wants to do about it. So here's some Admin Law 101. Admin law governs the structure, decision processes, and behavior of administrative agencies. Those agencies are created by statute, executive order, or by state constitutions. Admin agencies are also referred to as commissions, boards, authorities, bureaus, offices, departments, divisions, etc. They're created by executive order, meaning when the president says so, or by Congress. Say Congress passes a law saying something is illegal. In that same law, they might say, we also create this new agency, and this agency is tasked with overseeing and implementing this law. For example, the Federal Food and Drug Administration was created by the Pure Food and Drugs Act of 1906 to oversee the implementation of that law. The main functions of administrative agencies are to investigate, make rules, and adjudicate. That's why there's administrative law courts. They're not state or federal courts, they're separate, less formal courts where agencies can conduct hearings and enforce the regulations that they write and promote. Those admin law rulings can be appealed up to state and federal courts, but most of the day-to-day workings of administrative agencies happen within the agencies and their courts. That doesn't mean, however, that there is zero oversight of these agencies. Like I said, rulings in the admin law courts can be appealed to state and federal courts. Congress can pass laws like the Administrative Procedure Act to rein in administrative agencies, and